thing. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic groove up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic.
Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you had a great week. It's always a pleasure to see you. How's it going? Another Wednesday in the books. So let's see who is here today. We have Mr. John Payne. How you doing? All the way from upstate New York. We have Mr. Steve Lang from the UK. Patrick from Massachusetts. Mike, how you doing, my friend? Always great to see you. Remind me where you're from. I do forget. Who else we have? We have Brad. Good to see you from Manitoba. And all right, great thing for Spanish. Yes, estoy aprendiendo la lengua, amigo mío. So that's cool. Mr. Steve Leahy, how's it going? Yes, Atlanta-ish. So we got Mike Deloche and Jesus, both from Atlanta, so that's really cool. Big Falcons fan over here. Hey there, Mr. Roy, Color Graphics, good to see you, sir. Always a pleasure. So we are doing pretty good. Got a nice healthy group already. So let's see. So we are at part 5 of painting the amazing Raquel. So she was so amazing to pose for me, and I'm so thankful. So there she is. Okay, so you can have an idea of what I'm doing. So it's always great to see you, Mr. Leahy, all the way from Ohio, but he's from Massachusetts, so that's cool. And Mr. Roy is from Maryland, but he is hailing out of New Jersey right now, just like me, Jersey guy. So that's cool. So let's see what we have today. So this is cool. So I'm so glad you guys are here. Let's see, move me out of the way. And let me go ahead and pull her up. I'm going to pull up the Pure Ref. If you haven't had Pure Ref, that program, please get it. It's the best thing since rye bread. Sliced rye bread. It's the best thing since sliced rye bread. That's it. Okay, so let's see. We're looking for Raquel. And I see her, which is cool. And let's see here. Let's come over here. We'll go over there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a sort of a shield. I want to start working on her face a little darker. And how I'm going to do that, I don't want any overspray. No overspray here. So even though it's darker around it, if I come in darker, I can get overspray on the background. Just doesn't look as good. So just going that next step, you know. Oh man, Rubens, those are amazing. Rubens are fantastic. So that, yeah, I haven't had a good Reuben in a long time. There's this one place out of Teaneck, New Jersey. They make a Reuben. They must put like a half a pound of pastrami on that, or corned beef. It's just incredible. Absolutely out of this world. So I might do that on Saturday right now. So I mentioned rye bread, and then you mentioned Reuben. You see how this escalates? So good to see you, JC. Always a pleasure. How are you, sir? So can you guys see me, I hope, and hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? The Who? Those of you who don't know who the Who are, who the Who is you is, ain't you is my baby. I don't know. Who? Yeah. So the Who, one of the greatest rock bands ever. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, so Patrick, a good Jewish deli. Yeah, like I said, one here in Teaneck. It's a bit of a drive for you though. Sound visual good, very cool. So I think it's on your end, JC. And hey there, Mr. Raoul, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure. So glad you're here. Right now we're kind of escalating to part 5. So we're going to do the 2 airbrush method. So we're going to have the detail mixture. And so, okay, so here's an airbrush that's going out soon that I customized for a really cool person. This is almost ready to go, and I'm just doing the last test, and that's probably going to ship out tomorrow. So that's always cool. And a lot goes into customizing that and testing them and quality control. I probably take at least 4 hours on every airbrush. So it's 4 hours of labor, which is really great. Just testing it, making sure it's okay. So I'm always glad to see you, Raul, you know. And so what we're going to do, we're going to put the detail mixture in this one. As soon as I find it, we got medium, we have dark. Never make your studio neat. You'll never find a thing. So let's see here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to, remember, when you put anything in your airbrush, whether you're an ink or Createx, whatever, make sure you're about 3 feet away. Make sure you're lower than the table. Those are 2 fail-safes. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 drops in here. And then I'm going to do about 3 drops of H2O. Then I'm going to 3 feet away, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to put my cap, actually no, I'm not going to put the cap on yet. Going to put away my paint, my inks, and now what I want to do is I want to get a paintbrush, and I'm just going to, with the back, I'm going to go ahead and mix this. Please guys, don't ever shake it in your airbrush, because when you're doing, you're shaking it around, and it can actually get behind and actually hit your trigger, get in where your trigger is. So the needle packing is not always 100% good, you know. Sometimes it doesn't have the integrity when you shake it. If you shake your airbrush, you can put some ink or paint into your well where your trigger is. And if anyone ever had that, that's no fun whatsoever. Yeah, every time, right, Patrick, same here. Every time I clean up, I can't find a thing. So now we are going to basically, remember, when we first start with a project, you want to warm up, and you warm up with the detail mixture, regardless of what you're doing that day. And then we're gonna use a medium mixture soon. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, let me get my freehand shield over here. And what I'm going to do, so the head, the human head turns, right? I'm going to zoom out just to show you. The human head turns like a ball, right? And so anything that is on her head is going to turn, and what is on the light side is going to be light, and on the dark side is going to be dark, and it's slowly going to turn around that circle or ball. So the same thing with her teeth are around the circle, so you're going to see the teeth get darker as they go onto the dark side. So let's go ahead and just make sure that we make this happen. See that? Now we're darkening her teeth there, and going to, there we go. See how we're, and see how that's making her smile look more realistic. Mike says, the heads are turned orphaned by the gluteus maximus. Well, that's us men, right? Us men are guilty. So, I'm seeing that the angle of her incisor on camera left is turning a little bit more on an angle. Am I right or am I wrong? Yes. So, let's work on this together. So, I want her incisor to turn just a little bit more on this angle. There we go. And comes down just like that, and then this. So now, which is good, now I can go ahead and paint that in. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and fix that. Wait till that dries, and then I'm going to, fix that a little bit. And then come in here. Let's test the airbrush, make sure that it's working correctly. No ink is coming out before I turn it. Everything looks good. Okay, we're good. And let's go ahead and bring in the dark over here. Comes down just like so. And now it's starting, her smile's starting to look much more natural. Let me get my eraser and see if I can erase any kind of inconsistencies I have here. It's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to get emotional over those mistakes. Am I right? So we just got to stick with it. So that's important. Marshall, how you doing, my friend? Hey, Squeeze, how's it going? Good to see you. Yes, your order is going to ship out this weekend, Mr. Squeeze. Always a pleasure. So glad to see you, my friend. So we got a lot of great people here today. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. And so Bob, always good to see you. So I'm excited that you guys are here. And pleasure. You guys are so fantastic, always supporting me, and by buying my stuff at the Ink Flinger store. And I'll tell you, I'm just so thankful for everybody. If ever I get discouraged, I can't get discouraged for too long with you all. Trust me, you all really keep me going. I'm always excited about the live stream, always, so it's so amazing, to see everybody, you regulars that come, the new regulars, the ones that have been here a long time. You're all like super important. Definitely okay to use the pencil. There are no rules here. There we go. So we're starting to really get the character of her beautiful smile here. Yes, and the irregulars as well. Hey there, Patty. Always a pleasure to see you. How's it going? Thank you, Mike. Yes, Mike checked out the new video on the Extreme Patriot Arrow. And thank you so much for commenting. Mr. Clutch, thank you for the super chat. Excellent. So amazing. I really appreciate that. Very generous of you, Patrick. And, you are just amazing. And it's amazing always working with you. And, seeing your talent blossom is really a pleasure. Thank you so much for the support, Mr. Clutch Pyro. That is so cool. A tip for extra time. Oh, that pleasure's all mine, my friend. And Mr. Stephen Leahy says, even the haters. Well, we get all kinds sometimes, when we're in the public, as you know, Mr. Leahy, you're going to have people who are really cool, and then there's going to be people who are just not going to like us for whatever reason. That's up to them, So, yeah, you have that all the time, and you just we have to be thick-skinned about it. It's all part of it. If we weren't out there, then we'll assure that we're not going to have some people who don't like us, right? So having people who don't like us is part of the game, you know. So I don't like it. It's hurtful, but you know, I know it's all part of it. And if we're going to be successful, if I'm going to be successful at this, that means I'm going to be exposed to really great people like Patrick to give $5, super chat sticker, and you know, some people who are just not going to like me because of my face. You know, it's like, I'm going to show you guys a trick here. Just watch carefully, pick a card. No, not that. Basically, I'm just going to do this paper here. Remember, when you're doing, whenever, ever you are using anything for a shield, you always want to make sure you cover what you don't want to spray, right? And you spray on the other side. So let's do that. Look at that. Pow! See, nice and irregular, beautiful. Man, that's beautiful when I see that. Don't try that at home without supervision. No, you try that at home, and I know it's going to work for you. So that's why I tell you this, because it is a lot of fun, and you're going to get like really nice creases in the skin there. Look at that. So you're just going to test on your paper. Pow! Look at that. That looks nice, doesn't it? Humor me if you don't think it looks nice. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you another trick. This is like a day of tricks. Okay, pick a card, any card. Nope, that's not what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my aggressive eraser, and what we're going to do, where you have a dark, you're going to have a corresponding light. It's pretty much always. So you're going to have a dark and a corresponding light. But I'm going to get a more aggressive eraser. Good to the last drop, huh? Look at the size of that guy. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. Watch this. See that? Now it's looking like it's a real dimple, right? It looks like her dimples. So because with that dark on the other side is a light, and that's how you're going to get that impression. And then after you have that light, you're going to have a little bit of a mid-tone, right? See that? And then when we come in with the white pastel, bam, that's going to look really nice. I want you to try that on your own artwork. So if you are watching this, remember what minute it is, pause it, and then when you have any kind of contours inside, you'll do it that way. That would be great. And let's see. Mike DeLoches, I mentioned it because it gets some extra views. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes, get in front of more people, right, Mike? So thank you so much for that. And let's see. Mr. Leahy says, nah, people that are tweaked have their own problems. True. True, and I pray for them, you know. I pray that, you know, they find balance, you know. That's what I pray, you know. Rather than get mad at them, I pray for them. And let's see. Total Pain says, hey, people, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, sir. Thank you. Patty gives a big green check. I appreciate that. And Colette in the house. How you doing, Colette? All the way from Wisconsin, hailing out of Chicago. So that's cool. Isn't that cool? So that's really neat. So glad to see you, Colette, as always. Colette is doing some great stuff in my class right now, in my mentorship. So I'm really excited about that. Excited about the stuff that Jesus is doing. And, you know, you guys are always inspiring me. So I teach you and you inspire me. So that's how that works. Okay, so you see little imperfections here that I have to fix. There we go. Now, smiles are always very difficult to portray. That's for certain, right? That is for certain. So we got this. We got this, guys. We really do. So, Omas, how you doing? How's it going? Are you doing well, Omas? And I want you to watch some of the really good techniques that I do with this airbrush. I think you're going to enjoy it. So, very cool. So, I'm glad you're here, Omas. Always a pleasure to see you. So, let's see who else we have going on here. Colette also plays Mozart. Yes, on the Alexa. She knows how to do that. Louis Armstrong's 1929 recording of When You're Smiling. Oh, that's a great, yeah, I love that. That's a great song, definitely. So, all right, so let's go ahead and see if we can continue doing some detail here. And, okay, right here, right on her smile. So, I'm just gonna, I want to get that kind of curve right here. So remember, perpendicular and not parallel. There you go. See, I just got that there. And now what I'll do is I'll wait for that to dry, and then I'll shape that a little bit better, right? Just got to wait for that to dry just a little moment. And let's see. So like the real, so basically the temptation is to go ahead and just erase it right away. But we're erasing on paper, right? So we have to be very careful not to erase when it's wet, you know? So, let's see. We're just going to erase that right there. And then right here, I just got a little too dark here. So I'm just going to adjust this lightly. And I'm going to assess it, make sure I get this correct. There we go. And then, so you see these teeth over here are darker, so I have to keep them not only darker, but keep those values really close to one another. That's very important. So we'll definitely do that. And let's see. Okay, so here's something interesting. So if you see right here where her lip kind of comes up, right about here, and then you see this comes down, like right here, and you see that it's really interesting because that part of her lip here, it's nice and it's a little bit darker, so we're going to go ahead and see if we could spray that about 3 inches away. There we go. And then pull this up here. There we go. So now you can see I'm kind of shaping her smile, right? So we have to, and the thing is, we have to be careful because the values are so light in her teeth, and if I go too dark, it's gonna just set everything off. So I just have to be so careful. Okay, so I'm actually setting this up because later what I want to do is I want to come in with the white pastel and really pull out the highlights in her teeth, you know, very important. Oh, the hat keeps getting in the way. Sorry about that, sir. I'll try and not lean in so much. I don't have to lean in. So thanks for that heads up. I appreciate that. Mr. Mike, you're the best. Thanks for the heads up. So you guys are all helping me to do a better live stream. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's zoom out and see what we're doing here. Okay, great. Okay, so you see we're starting to get a little bit of you know, more character in her face, which is good. And we're just going to continue that. And notice I have this all covered because I don't want any overspray, right? So I'm just going to continue with that. And we're just going to bring that down. There we go. Just working on that smile, bringing that together, you know. So we're going to be okay. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm looking at this. Can I darken anything? Maybe the bottom lip. The top lip is pretty light, but the bottom lip, I think it's just a little darker right at the bottom of that bottom lip. But it's not like constant. It's pretty thin, the dark here on this side. And on that side, it's dark. But now what's interesting, because remember I said that the face is on the head, which is round. The same thing, the lips and the teeth are also on that same roundedness. But over here, right, this is facing the light most directly, because the light is actually a little bit above her and to the left. But as the teeth go further away, even though they're on the side where the light is, they're turning away. So they're more at an oblique angle. So right here, you're actually going to see the lips get darker as it goes towards the corner of the mouth, right? And you see that? So that's very, very important. And let's see, come over here. And I'm actually going to see how I have the teeth, the lips a little too wide there. So I'm going to come in with my eraser and thin that out. You always want to be able to go ahead and adjust your work as you're going, right? Sometimes you might get overzealous, sometimes you might overdo it, you know. And so shrink foil, that's pretty cool. So what exactly is shrink foil, sir? Shrink foil, like sort of cover it so it doesn't get damaged sort of thing? I see some artists do the shrink foil technique when they are, how do you say, like when they're exhibiting, they do the shrink foil. I see that. Is that like sort of like the plastic wrapping, you know? Well, some, you know, Omar, some people like to, you know, frame it nice. Framing is a lot less expensive than you think, right? I like to go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and the trick I find to inexpensive framing is to make sure that you do your work standard size, and that really helps. So that's, but I can definitely see where shrink foil would actually come, you know, be handy just when you want to kind of like store them and don't want to pay for all that. So I understand that too. Let's see. So as you can see, we're going along at a pretty good clip. And the thing is to really take our time, you know. That's really cool. So, oh, okay. So Omas, you do that as far as display as well? So let's see. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Like a covering. All right. I can definitely see that. Definitely. I have to look into that technique. I will. So that's cool. Yeah, anything to, you know, cover it, present it really cool, inexpensive, especially in this day and age, right? So very good suggestions, sir. I appreciate that very much so. And you know, you guys are all so fantastic, have all these great ideas. Steve Leahy says he's falling in love with gunstock oil. Wow, gunstock oil, that's interesting. Brad makes his own frames. Oh, so it's like a matte glossy color. Very cool. Okay, cool. Very cool. JC says, Stephen, how did my airbrush stand with the burl walnut? Oh yeah, that was pretty cool, that little airbrush stand you had. I like that. That was really neat. That was very cool. So, very much like that, sir. And we're just going to continue working up here. So now remember I said I was going to come in with the medium mixture. So I'm going to come in with the light mixture. It's a little bit darker than the detail. So I'm going to get the this one, which is the Extreme Patriot 105. And I am going to come over here. And in here I'm going to put the medium mixture. So, I mean the light mixture. Let's see if I can find it. I know it's there somewhere. Dark, dark, medium. There we go. Medium, a light mixture. And remember, I'm going to be about 3 feet away, right? And I'm going to be lower than the table because accidents do happen to me. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't need more than 5 drops, you know. So that should be more than enough. You're probably going to have to like dump some out later. But 5 drops is really sufficient. So whenever I have a new airbrush going, I always like to test it out off to the side, right? So I'm going to test it out here. The things I want to make sure is that no ink is coming out before I pull back. That sort of thing. I'm getting a nice line, nice detail, feeling good. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to darken things. And when we darken things, things around it are going to lighten up, which is really cool, you know? Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I find like when I exhibit, you know, as everyone, you know, exhibits, you know, the frame could really make a difference. Definitely. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with her irises, right? And go down the center line here. Okay, and we're just going to go a little bit darker, everybody. Let's see. Just get in there. So what we'll find is when we darken up, let's say the pupils, we realize that we have to darken other areas up, and that's sort of the name of the game, you know, just slowly build up the values. There's no rush in it, right? You have to take your time. So you see when I'm spraying here that the air is billowing up underneath the hat, and what I'm going to do, I'll put the magnet close to the edge so I don't get that billowing. So a thing called underspray. You don't want underspray. And also another way is to spray away from the shield. And then you lessen the opportunity for that ink or paint to get underneath, right? So that's always good. Oh, and Mr. Bob says, Brad, he makes his own frame as well. Cool. Wow, we got a lot of artisans here. That's really neat. And so very, very good. Nice. And let's see, we're going to go do the other iris. And we're just going to come over here, get this detail. See that? And my hat's in the way, right? Sorry. Let's see, come over here. There we go. And let's see what we have here. Yes, that's so cool. And let's come over here with the nostril. It's always nerve-wracking doing the nostril so small, right? You're like, oh no, right? It's a little nerve-wracking. But that's why all that practice, you know, doing the dots, right? Or what I like to do, I'll zoom out and I'll show you some of my exercises that really help. I love to do circles, right? Just continue doing circles. And you see how crazy they look when I first do them? And then I just continue doing these circles. And I'm going to raise my air pressure. See that? And doing those circles, two things. You get better aim, but not only that, you get better dexterity to to actually paint at different angles, which is really good. So Omar says, Tim, do I ever use spheric magnets? What exactly are spheric magnets? I'd love to hear, sir. Hey, Mr. Tone, how's it going? Good to see you, hailing out of Queens, NYC. Good to see you, sir. JC says, Tim, when one is lucky like him and it's surrounded by wood and the finish I can... Oh, yeah, no, that was great that you did that, JC. That was fantastic. So, very cool. So you see, sometimes you have to raise that air pressure to get a really nice atomization. You see, I wasn't getting the atomization, now I am. So, and also what I like to do after that is practice trying to get the dot in the center of those circles. So you're gonna get dexterity with the circle, and then you're gonna get aim with your dots, right? So give that a try. I think that's going to help you. It helps me get, you know, much better control, right? So that helps me a lot. All right, so we're continuing with that. I think this is dark enough, and so right now I think we're good. Maybe up here, yeah, definitely up here we can darken, you know, the shadow at the bill of her cap. We can darken that, and then maybe just make those values closer right there. See that? And now I think I'm starting to get, you know, close to the feeling of Raquel. So I'm gonna keep trying. That's what I'm gonna do. Keep trying. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the I'm gonna work on the hat area. So I'm going to actually try and cover this up because I want to work on the rest of her, but I still don't want to mess up the background, right? So I'm just going to put this over here. All right. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to make sure that we cover that background. No ghosting or anything like that, right? We're going to work on that. So let's see. Oh, so Omar says they are round like a sphere and can be much easier picked up, like on your artwork. And oh, cool. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'll check it out on, what is it, on Amazon. See if they have them. Thanks for that, sir. That's a good... Always looking for different kind of magnets, right? I learned about magnets through Mr. Leahy's live streams, which are on Facebook at 6 o'clock on Mondays, 6 o'clock Eastern time, and he has a really good live stream on that. So check that out, guys. And I will definitely check out those spherical magnets, you know. And let's see. So cool. So we're doing pretty good. We got 14 concurrent people in here, which is always nice. More the merrier. Love it. Okay, so now we have this here. And I'm just going to cover, just protect that background. We don't want, you know, a lot of time with airbrush you get that like stereotypical kind of smoky overspray, you know, that just screams out airbrush. Sometimes you want that look, but if you're just looking for, you know, the look of your painting in a classical sense, you're not going to want any kind of overspray. 4mm diameter max. Wow, that's really cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's a nice small size, definitely. So right here we're going to start working darker, but let's see, where can we actually start? I'm going to... Last week we were working on her hat, right? And her hair. So let's go ahead and continue with the hat. First I'm going to come in with the detail mixture, and I just want to kind of shape this hat a little bit. Some of the little creases and little folds that are in this hat. it's not a very stiff hat. So I just want to try and get the feeling of the texture and how it's curling down and over. Just like over here, come down. And I could switch really quickly over to my medium, my light mixture, which is darker. And I can come here and give a little bit of a dark accent when I need, which is really good. And come over here. And you know, taking your time with something like this, you know, it's not exactly like game changing or anything, but a lot of little things done right like this is really going to pay off for you. You know, in the end, a lot of the little things like the creases and the texture of the hat and all the little mid-tones and everything, it's really going to work out. So it's okay to go ahead and donate some time to this. That hat is not just a hat, but you know, it's a lot going on, and we're just going to try and get that here. Now the bill of the cap is kind of, it's not a flat, it has a thickness like right over there, and then I'm just going to just fade that into the shadow here. Really nice hard edge right here at the brim of the cap right here. So I'm going to go perpendicular and not parallel. And again, with that light mixture, we really can make that pop, right? And all those things are going to help us to really get the character of Raquel, and that's what we want to do. And you see, like in the brim of her hat over here on the left, you really can't see where the hat and her forehead start. So we want to make sure we don't make any detail that's not there. If you don't see it, don't put it in. That's going to go a long way than, you know, painting it because you think it should be there. Just pulling that over like so. Kind of liking it. Now, Rome isn't built in a day, so we're going to take our time, right? We're not going to worry about getting everything right away. We're going to work on the hat a little bit and then work on other areas to keep everything going at the right speed, you know? Keep everything, paint everything at the same time, so to speak. John Augusto Dominic Angela said, paint the ensemble, right? Don't worry about you know, don't do an eye, a nose, a mouth. Paint the whole thing. Bring everything and make it look like it was all painted at one time. That's what Angela said. See, now that hat really feels like, you know, something that's on her head, right? And then we're going to come back and we'll do more stuff to it. But we don't have to, and the good thing is to come back later, right? When we come back later, it'll be thoroughly dry and we can start doing some erasing techniques, which is so cool, you know? Yeah, I'm just going to do the crease right here. There we go. Okay, so liking it. Liking the fact as I darkened that cap, I can see that I can darken some of these mid-tones, so that's nice. That's a good thing about coming in a little bit darker. And Patrick says, it's amazing how many people in this live stream are turning out so much amazing art. Yeah, so many amazing artists are in this live stream, Patrick, definitely. And Patty says I should put my logo on Raquel's hat. I wish I would have thought of that when Raquel was posing for me. That would have been great. that's for sure. Okay, so let's bring in some of the dark in the hair here. And you see, like over here by the ear, it's like it's in shadow, the whole thing. So we're just going to make sure we put our ear in shadow. I'm going to be about 4 inches away. Remember, 5 inches away gives you a nice spray. So the further you're away from the surface, the smoother your application of ink or paint is going to happen, because you're widening that cone. As you widen that cone, the little droplets of paint or ink are wider, and it's going to be much more smoother. So try that when you're painting. Just see what the different distances do for you. There we go. So now I can come in and do this dark right on the edge where her neck is. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to go perpendicular, not parallel, so I don't leave an edge, right? So I'm just going to go perpendicular, and now I'm going to have that dark, and you're not going to see that edge, right? And while I'm looking right now at her teeth, I definitely can lighten this a bit. I don't want too much contrast, right? So I'll just lighten that a bit. I think that will be good. And now the values are still dark, but when I come in with the highlight, it's going to make sense more. Same thing here. There we go. And don't get hung up in one area. Just work on a little bit and then come back, knowing that you'll work on it. So, you know, not everything's going to look perfect at every stage. So just make sure that you know you'll come back to it. Just take note of what you want to fix. And let's see. Tone says he got a sheet of metal to try. So cool. And tone magnets are a game changer. So true. Yes, definitely. Really is. That's for sure. And Michael Oach says he's fairly certain. Let's see. Well, he's, I think, you know, Mike, Omos is being pretty cool so far. You know, I appreciate Omos's contributions to the live stream, so thank you for that, Omos. I appreciate it. So this is like a super friendly live stream, you know, and you know, just to I hear everyone's opinions, and you know, try and stay as positive as possible. And you all are really cool, Mike and Steve and everybody. You know, it's a very welcoming place. And hey, what's up, Mr. Kennedy? How are you, sir? Good to see you. So I thank you so much, Mike Deloach. I appreciate always. Mike is a great friend, and always love hearing from you, sir. So Bill Kennedy is in the house, and Patty says just don't let those magnets get too close to one another. He's learned painful the hard way. Brad says, Tone, I use a magnetic sign material for a backing. Always a pleasure there, Mr. Bill. So glad you're here. And yes, the airspace. So guys, go ahead and check out Bill Kennedy's channel. He has some really amazing videos on airbrushing, and you won't regret it. So definitely check that out. That will be a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot. And so very cool. He does airbrush reviews, all kinds of stuff. And that just click on his icon, right? The airspace. And he has a lot of subscribers, man. He has How many subscribers you have? Like 8,000 or 9,000 right now, sir? And you really got those subscribers rather quickly because of their hard work and everything. So that was exciting. And you see, it looks like I'm not doing anything, but you know what? With this technique of working slow and just building up your texture, that's the way to do it. You build up the texture really slowly. Oh, great. Yes. So when Ava gets out of the hospital, then you're going, yes, hopefully that's very soon. So you're doing great. All your videos keep getting all these views, so that speaks volumes, definitely. What I did is I just got this from Amazon. I think it's a 12 by 18 piece of metal. It's supposed to be like a bulletin board where you have a dry erase. I think it costs like $18. And that works like a charm, really. Oh, Patty got her at Menards. Very cool. And Mr. Leahy tip he would like a larger magnetic surface. Wow, cool. Very good. A lot of good exchanges of ideas. It's a hotbed of information right now. And that's always good. That's anything that makes our lives as airbrush artists easier. Am I right? Doing those creases in her hat. Okay, I want a nice hard edge here, right at here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a shield here. See if I can find it. If Tim could find it. I heard something fall. It's acetate, so you know what that means? It's invisible. So I'm just going to look for it. Wait for it. No, let's see. I think it might be in the folder. Let me double check. There we go. So I could use this and get this hard edge right over here. It's just a slight hard edge. So it's best to make your own little freehand shields rather than go ahead and you know, use like any arbitrary shape. If you can get your own, that definitely is going to work in your favor, you know. I don't know. I think I really like Mr. Bill Kennedy's stuff, you know. So I honestly think he's a great resource, Omash. You got to give him a chance, you know. Like really see he's out for everybody, you know, as far as helping them. So definitely give him a chance, and you won't be sorry. Definitely, Omash. Oh, look at that. That's a great idea that Mike says. He overwrote part of his comment. It turned out pretty interesting, though. He says he set a filter fan as a downdraft right next to the workspace. Nice. Yeah, actually, I have to agree that Mr. Kennedy has all the fans and everything going, which is really good. But you'll find that when you check out check out more of his videos. You're going to see that, you know, he's definitely telling the truth. He's a lot more healthier when it comes to airbrushing than I am. So I definitely give Mr. Kennedy, you know, kudos in that respect. well, let's all beg to differ. That's always good to beg to differ. It's okay to have different opinions, definitely. Let's just, beg to differ. There we go. And you see how we're bringing that over and everything, which is really cool. Wow, 22 on the live stream. Oh, thank you for that, Steve. Thanks. That's really good. Got a nice, healthy group going here today. Thank you, everybody, for watching the live stream. I really appreciate it. It's very cool. I definitely am thankful for that. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this up here, and you'll see I got this edge here where the chin kind of meets. Hey, Mr. Ear Todd, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that so much, sir. So, these donations are really important. They make a big difference, and they help me to continue and put that money towards the channel, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Todd. All the way from San Diego. How's work going, Todd? I know you're working. Todd is a ninja, that's for sure. Todd is definitely a ninja, without a doubt, So that's cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. So now you see I have this nice edge here. It's very subtle, but it's still there. So now I'm just going to work on a little bit of a texture thing here. And we're going to, after we do the texture, we might start putting in some of the white pastel in her face. But I just want to darken some areas here. Just where I have too much contrast, especially in the shadows. You'll find you might have too much contrast, Oh, JC says we're all ninjas and we were more with the pandemic. That's funny. And definitely. So we're going really good. So everything's going pretty cool. And now I'm just going to come in with this. We're going to start kind of plowing the field, getting ready for our white pastel. So let's see. Okay. And as you can see, if I squint my eyes, I see that this light here kind of disappears. That's the under part of her eyelid, right? We see that, but we barely see it. So those values are pretty close. And also the white of her eyes on camera left is really very dark. So I'm just going to make sure I do that and also darken that. So, it gives a little more of a feeling of, the lighting that's hitting her at the time. Patty says they sell nickel neon, wow, it's a good word, magnets at Home Depot. Only one size, but not bad. Okay, I will check that out. Thanks, Patty. That's really good. And thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. And yeah, Omos, we definitely want you here, and hopefully we can exchange ideas and everything. I'm all for that. And I definitely want you part of the group, sir. Oh, look at that. Clutch likes the oh, IKEA. Yeah, IKEA is amazing, right? Definitely. I always have a hard time putting the stuff together at IKEA. I know it's easy, but I still have a hard time, And let's see. Oh, the food at so when Marge is shopping, you're eating the food at IKEA, I bet, huh, Steve? That's probably what's happening. So I appreciate your contributions, and we just got to keep it as positive as possible, guys. You know, that's the only thing I hope, you know? And so, like I said, I'm a big fan of Mr. Bill Kennedy's site, you know, and he's a friend of the channel, so I appreciate that. And you don't have to put the food together. That's true. So that's interesting. There's like a metal airbrush spray. That's very interesting. I never heard about that. So I'm definitely going to look into that. There we go. So now I'm sort of plowing the field looking for the white highlights, right? And I'm going to be coming in with the white pastel, right? So we're getting ready for it. Over here it's a little bit darker, so I'm just going to spray a little bit with my detail mixture right here. We want to get some of that skin texture. And come over here. And so now I'm going to take my aggressive eraser, but I'm not going to be aggressive with it, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to very softly start plowing the field, getting ready for the white pastel. And this way, you know, there's no blue shift or anything, but you just want to make sure that when you put the white pastel down, you have a nice clean application. Okay. And let's see how this works out. Okay, so let's start. So what I like to do is I take a white pastel pencil, and I'm looking for a white pastel pencil, and you see I'm good to the last drop, right? And I'm going to get a piece of sandpaper. Sandpaper is going to be 80 grit or 100 grit sandpaper. And oh, Patty, have a great night. Always a pleasure. You are the best. So thank you for staying up later to watch the live stream. I know you work early, so I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. I hope it goes by quick. And just remember, 2 more days to the weekend, okay? Hopefully that will give you some energy tomorrow, thinking that you only have 1 more day after tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to need a stump dedicated to the white pastel, right? So let's see. And dun dun dun, we want one with a good point. Here we go. That's a tortillan. So the difference between a stump and a tortillan, a stump doesn't have the kind of wrapping on it, right? So let us zoom in, not zoom in, but go and focus. So you see how this kind of has wrapped paper? That's a tortillan. And you see how this is one big piece of paper shaped into like a painting element or a writing element. We're going to use a tortillan. So we're going to put this aside, and we have our 100 grit sandpaper, and we have our white pastel. So what I want you to do is, what we're going to do is we are going to deposit the white pastel onto the sandpaper, because we don't want it on, we don't want to do it using with the pastel pencil. So we're just going to take our tortillan and we're going to pull up some of that white pastel. And let's go ahead and I'll show you with the magic of the DSLR. We'll go in and focus. Let's see. Hey Brad, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. Canada's own, one of my actually my longest tenured student. We're over 1.5 years now together, 2.5 years, and he is doing some amazing work. If you haven't seen his Scarlett Johansson, he did that totally on his own, not in my class, and that is just out of this world. So I love when I see students actually do the work on their own. That makes me feel good, that when I see that. So that means that you know, it's all coming together, you know, all the classes in the mentorship program, watching the live streams all come together, definitely. And so I really appreciate it. Yeah, the Scarlett Johansson is amazing, that's for sure, Clutch. And so that's really neat. And let's see. So you see, we're not too, that's why I kept that. It's not too light, right? And then I'm going to come here and I'm just going to start doing some of this texture over here. See how I'm going to try and get that texture here. And I'm going to come back and work on that. But you want to get the movement, how the movement is going, like wrapping around her form, right? You'll see that the form, the light will actually wrap around the form of whatever the light is going across. So, just like so. And so that is so cool. So thank you guys, I appreciate that. For the super chat and the super stickers, makes a big difference. Really helps me out and helps me to continue the live streams and everything. So I really, really appreciate it. You know, when you purchase the airbrush or the inks, it all really, really helps and encourages me. So thank you guys, really appreciate it. So now that we're doing this, you can see how I'm following, not only doing the highlight, but following the grain of the skin, right? What direction is that skin going? And you see the light is actually going to follow the skin. And now you can see, even though this is just a little thing, it's actually making quite a difference as far as the realism. And you're going to see as I continue this, it's really going to come together really quite nicely. We have a nice little light right here, and it's a speckly light right here on the tip of her nose. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Just like so. And a lot of people saying thanks, Brad, I appreciate that. And Bill says when he moved to the south from the north, they wanted to put me in an ESL class. Oh my goodness, that's pretty funny. That is. And right here there's a little highlight on her nose here. And of course we have a lot to do, but I'm just establishing some of these values, and you can see how it just begins to start to bring her to life a little bit. But that's why all the seemingly looking like I'm not doing anything, I really am. I'm setting up for this. And you have to really work on that texture, you know? It's really important. And even though I'm putting on pastel, I'm really very delicate, putting the thinnest veneers of white pastel here. The thinnest of veneers, just like that. And just look how things just sort of soften up, right? I mean, I love it. And when you put pastel, you don't have to go ahead and, you know, put white. You can definitely control it and get different varieties of gray by using the white pastel, which is really wild, you know? Oh, cool, magnetic primer. That is really interesting. I got to check that out, Omas, definitely. And so let's see. He says that's why hockey is so popular in the South. You got people with no teeth that can't speak much English rooting for people with no teeth that can barely. That's funny. And we're just going to pull that up. There we go. And oh, so we have a nice little highlight here, but it really isn't a highlight. It's just slightly lighter, as her cheek here on camera left is getting a little more light. So you see how that's sort of hitting the light a little bit, and now it's really starting to shape the light, shape her face, which is really nice, really bringing out her personality. And I'm not in any rush, right? I'm just taking my time. That's important. And so we're just going to apply this white pastel. And if I ever get too much, I can always come in with the kneaded eraser and then tap it and get rid of, any amount of pastel I want, right? I can get rid of the smallest amount or the largest amounts, no problem. Let's see what's happening here. Boiled peanuts are good. Wow, boiled peanuts. And that's funny. So Brad says he thinks all us Americans are funny. Well, yeah, we have, and among Americans, we have so many different dialects in a sense, right? Accents, from we sound totally different parts of the country. I think the most polarizing are the Northeasterners and the Southeasterners. I think they're the most polar opposites. See how I was a little overzealous with the white pastel on the eye, camera right? So I'm going to look for my kneaded eraser. It's going to take a little piece, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Steve says he loves when his parents lived outside of Dallas. Thoroughly enjoyed everything. Wow, so cool. So for a time they were vacationing there, or not vacationing, but retired there for a while there, Steve? Your parents? Okay. We're just going to continue. With the highlight on this eye here. I think I'm going to come in with the Fons and Porter because it's a little more exact. Fons and Porter is a really great product. It is from England, actually, which is really... Oh, wow! Hey, Bob, thank you so much. Squeeze with the $10 super sticker. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say I appreciate you, and, it really helps the channel, and you purchasing the airbrush and the inks and the paper. I just want to say thank you for the bottom of my heart there, Mr. Bob. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, oh, wow, Paul, thank you so much for the $9 super chat and the super sticker. I really appreciate that, Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul, hailing from Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, about 45 minutes from South Bend, right? So very cool. Thank you, Paul, and thank you so much, Bob, for really helping me out and encouraging me. That is really fantastic. You guys are really, really, really encouraging me, and you all don't know just how much I needed that tonight. I needed that. Hey, Mr. David Lee Trevino, how you doing, John Diekman? All right, we got a great group today. You guys are really turning up, and I really love that. So now we're in like a lot of the favorite part, which is coming in with the white pastel. Even though, we still have a long way to go. I'm just kind of establishing that white pastel just to get a feel of what I'm doing. So glad to see you, David. Always a pleasure. And I really appreciate you telling me I'm doing a good job. No, I really appreciate the encouragement, sir. I always want to know I'm doing a good job. And so Mr. Leahy says his folks worked and retired there before moving back to Massachusetts, he said. And his favorite Southernese saying was, "Jeet jet" means "did you eat yet?" That's pretty cool. That's funny. Did you eat yet? That's so funny. That's cool. So Mr. Diekman, hailing from Wisconsin, always a pleasure. He's working from home. Are you still working from home, or you're in the office yet, sir? I think last I talked, you were in the office, then people got sick, and then you weren't in the office. Is that pretty much what happened? Is that still the case? What a great positive group we have here. It's just really exciting. A lot of good conversation. So I'm really excited about tonight, and every night for that matter. And so that's so cool. So still home, still working from home. Starting back slowly in July. Not bad, not bad. I bet you save money on gas, huh, sir? from going back and forth, but I bet you'll trade the money for gas just to see people, right? And oh yes, Mrs. David Lee DeVito ordered the Extreme Patriot Arrow. It should be coming within a day or so, so that is on its way. And so this is the other one that I'm working on. I'm almost finished. This is shipping out tomorrow. So on Mr. Trevino's, I think I worked on that about 6 hours to get it just right. Same here. And so that's really cool. Yes, definitely. Airspace, you are a pro. Of course he is. Yeah, he's doing amazing, Mr. Bill over there from Tennessee, which is great. He's from Chicago, but right now he's in Tennessee. Do I got that right? I want to get where you all guys are from. So that's cool. So, Omas, where are you from, my friend? Are you from here in the States, outside the States? You're welcome. No matter where you're from, it's always great to hear, you know, where everybody is from. So let's see. JC says you're more Southern than a Yankee, Bill. Well, I think Yankees are just, that's me. We're just pretty much Yankees, right? Yes, so that's David's second airbrush, you know, and thank you, sir. And so I really appreciate that. So not only did he buy one for me, he's buying a second one, and that means so much to me. That's an honor, sir. Definitely. I appreciate it. So how are you guys doing with the mosquitoes? Have you guys got bit by mosquitoes yet this year? It's pretty rough, you know. It has been pretty rough so far. I got more mosquito bites this year than subsequent years. I think we have more rain going on right now than last year. But then again, I don't really know what happened last year. It's all kind of a blur. Clutch says, Patrick says, Bill, he used a complete barbecue at the fair over in Lebanon. Oh, wow, look at that. Yes, in Nashville is where you won the prize, am I right? Was that for the barbecue? So if you guys don't know that Mr. Clutch Pyro, Patrick, is actually an award-winning chef. So that is really cool. So, and we have two people here that make amazing beef jerky. We have Mr. John Payne, Total Pain. He actually, I had some of his beef jerky and it was amazing. And then Mr. Clutch Pyro, he makes amazing beef jerky as well. My dad was always with the barbecuing, and it's really, you know, I never really barbecued. That was always my dad. My dad's not with me anymore. So let's see. So, hey Blue, how you doing? I'm so glad you're here. How's everything? So, John, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. That is so encouraging, my friend. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It's so fantastic to get encouragement from you guys. And, you know, the super chat really helps me because at the end of the month, I get some money from YouTube, and I help that to pay the bills, pay the cable bill, all that stuff, you know, for the internet. So you are really great, John. Thank you for coming by. I know you have work in the morning, so I appreciate that. And I super appreciate the super sticker. That's fantastic. And David, of course, lives in Texas, so he's getting hit with mosquitoes. And he says he wears armor, body armor, from the mosquitoes. And yes, so, oh yes, let's wish a great happy birthday to Mr. Clutch Pyro. I believe he's like 25 years old or something like that. Thank you so much. I got to hang out with him in class today. That was a pleasure. And now I get to see him here on the live stream. So happy birthday to you, my friend. And you still got you got like what, an hour left of it. So I'm just so happy we get to kind of hang out with you, right? That's really cool. The mosquitoes wear armor. That's even worse, my friend. Oh my God. So really amazing. Brad with $5. And he says because Canadian money is valued less than US, but anything from you is valued at the highest level. Thank you so much. That's another $5 from Mr. Brad. You are amazing. Thank you so much, my friend. That means everything. You all are just being so generous and kind, and I am just so excited and so touched by. Oh my God, Blue with $10. Yes, this is amazing. Thank you, Blue, for the encouragement. Thank you for stopping by. I know you're busy with the fire department and your job and everything, your own artwork, and you're a mom, and so coming by to hang out with me is amazing. And also, you know, the super chat sticker is just so great, and thank you so much. You guys are just encouraging me all over the place tonight, and I'm really appreciate. Yes, it is a legendary night. We're getting everyone is here. We're getting super chat stickers, which are really helping the channel. And not only that, you know, we're having a great time. Patrick's birthday. I wish we had some cake, but it's kind of hard to do that over the internet, right? So what a positive night we have here. It's just so great. Just great vibes, right, everybody? 18 watchers and 18 thumbs up. Isn't that great? Yes. This place is rocking right now. We are really doing great tonight. And so here's something interesting. So you see here we have this value, right? You can take the white pastel and you can get kind of, so you want to get some of the lights in the shadow. So if I go super light here, I can actually kind of make this shadow area kind of gleam with reflected light. Just sort of very lightly scumble that in. And you can see, even though we have a value shape here, we can definitely get like a much more interesting gradation, and you can actually feel that, you know, there's light everywhere bouncing around. And if I ever get overzealous, I can always take my eraser and I can tap where I put the white pastel, and the more I tap, the more that the white pastel is lifted. So you really can control, like microscopically, how much pastel you're putting on that surface, which is really outrageous. So, you know, I studied pastel for many years in New York City with the pastel portraits, and so there's a lot of experience, and that's why of course, if I'm working in airbrush, I'm going to incorporate pastel some way. And that's a great thing about airbrush. We all come from different walks of life and different experiences, and we can all bring that experience into our own work, and just makes the whole community of airbrush just that much, how do I say, just that much richer and eclectic and everything like that. So that's one of the things I really love about the airbrush community. And let's see what we, oh, Blue, have a great night, thanks so much. And oh, the pastel portrait was beautiful, thank you. And I know you're going to do great studying, and make sure you get sleep, though. That's more important, okay, honey? Thank you so much, Blue. I appreciate that. And so that's neat. And let's see. So very cool. And we're going to continue with this white pastel. And just really looking for the values inside the values, because you really don't have like a gray and that's where the gray goes. There's a lot of values within value shapes, and the white pastel really enables me to go ahead and do that, which is really like next level stuff. Same thing here. I can actually lighten up and make this value that's on the side of this highlight coming there. It's a lot more complex than I have it, so I can kind of scumble and give that more translucency, which really makes a big difference. Oh yes, happy birthday, Mr. Patrick. That is so cool. So very cool. That is neat. And let's see, coming over here. So now you see I'm going to right where her dimple is. You see you have the dark, and where you have the dark, you're going to have a corresponding light. See how that works, which is very cool. And then we have this dark that's coming down on the other side of her dimple there, and we're gonna infuse some light into that. just make it a lot more subtle. And then we have some light here, and just bring that over. Just make it more subtle, right? Soften that edge. There we go. Make it nice and beautiful. So now right here on the bottom of her chin here, we definitely can kind of beautify this as it is. Sometimes I miss and I have to come in and, you know, make sure I get the beautiful contours. And then right here you can see how this dimple comes all the way down, but that's not true. So we're going to go ahead and kind of eliminate that, assimilate that a little bit more. Let's see. And Mr. Clutch Pyro says, Patrick says, that's an understatement. She puts a lot of effort into supporting this whole community. So true. That is so true, honey. And you do have real class, that's for sure. So thank you so much. We all really love you there, Blue, definitely. So whenever you come by, it's always an honor. So that is so cool. So Blue is from Long Island, actually, which is not too far from here. It's about 45 minutes from where I am in Jersey. And she's actually closer to Mr. Tone. Tone is from Queens, which is probably like maybe about 15-20 minutes from there. So that's cool. And let's see. Nameless subscriber, how you doing? Great to see ya. So that's okay. You needed to sleep, so we're glad you're here, regardless of when you get here. We're just glad you're here. Mr. Leahy says you'll be right back. No worries. He's a very busy guy, so I know he has a lot of things happening, you know. Kind of doing your own thing, trying to make a living on your art is really amazingly difficult, and I appreciate, you know, he inspires me. So does, you know, Mr. Bill over there, and also Mr. Leahy. They're putting their best foot forward, you know. It's not always easy, but they're kind of carrying that torch, you know. So we can all give you guys great content. You know, this stuff is like totally free, and you could really grow as airbrush artists watching these live streams. You know, you really can. And we're here to answer your questions if you have any questions, which are really cool. So I love that part. And so that's great. So Mr. Clutch Pyro says, Tim has given away so many secrets tonight. Thank you. And this one's really good. The paper, right? That's really going to help you. So that is fantastic. So I'm holding off on the teeth because that's a little bit of a difficulty. So I'm just going to hold off on that. And, oh, now I can actually come in and do some. Oh man, thank you so much, Mr. Squeeze. Bob, always a pleasure. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the super chat. That means a lot to me. All the way from San Francisco. And I hope you have a great night, sir, and we will talk soon. So class act, Mr. Squeeze there. So definitely amazing. And let's see. What was the paper for? Cool. So let's say when you're doing, I'll even repeat it for you. So let's say you're doing an inner contour. What's an inner contour? Like a dimple? So rather than use your freehand shield, which will make everything very robotic, you can just cut the paper, and you can kind of cut it in the shape of that, and then you could spray it and you can get an organic shape, really cool, an organic kind of inner contour. So I love doing that, and I wanted to share that with you all today. And that's like high level stuff. I airbrush about 8 hours a day, so I find out all kinds of stuff. You know, just by doing it so much, you know, you're bound to find out some secrets, right? And, oh, Mr. Trevino says he's sorry for the early night, but he has many meetings today. Oh, man, I know how that could get, you know. So you have a great night. Take it easy, sir. Let me know when it arrives. If you have any questions, You know, and thank you so much for the encouragement. I really appreciate that. He says I'm doing a great job. That means the world to me. And thank you so much, David. Always a pleasure, my friend. So great stuff. Another class act right there. And very cool. You guys are all amazing. Making me feel good tonight, you know. What a better way to spend a Wednesday night. I don't think so. This is actually one of the best ways, hanging out with you all. And we're just gonna, so now I'm gonna bring that light here. You're gonna see I'm coming down here to her neck, and I'm gonna bring this light down. Oh, let's go ahead and work on the side of her chin there. So we have this light here on the side of her chin. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, remember, a lot of times the space is just as important as where you are putting in the white or anything. You want to have that space. That's what's going to create texture, is the space in between, right? Mr. Leahy is back. Good to see you, sir. So cool. That was a power nap, if that was a nap, right? So JC says, how was Steve's nap? I was like, that's like a 45-second nap. I've seen power naps, but not that short, right? That's too funny. And let's see, JC says he really needs to sleep. He's getting to be like Tim, no sleep at all. Sleep? Who needs it? Not us, right? Oh man. So I've been taking some little time off lately to watch The Office. Has anyone watched the show The Office? I'm like quite addicted to it. I managed never to watch it until now. I was living under a rock, but now I'm not. And I'm telling you, it is just the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because I worked at an office, and a lot of the satire I really get. How crazy people are when you work in an office. The crazy people you have to rub elbows with, you know. And there's the really crazy dimensions that go on, you know, like, not dementia, but dimensions, like the little, like, subcultures, and, you know, just how they kind of try to make you feel scared, you know. Ooh, you're late 1 minute, 3 more of them, and we're going to have to let you go. Ooh, boogeyman, that kind of garbage, you know. So, you know, like, I understand, like tardiness, but there were people like, you know, never late in a year, you're late once, and they're like, oh, I don't know, you know, like, I was late once and there was like a typhoon, you know, like, calm down, you know. But it was funny, you know, and you kind of get that craziness, so that's hilarious. Let's see. By the way, the Roger Moore was fantastic. Yes, so the Roger Moore, that was done by Juan Carlos. Really fantastic painting, definitely. Oh, John says he can sleep when he dies. That's funny. And Nameless says, you guys know what kills him is he cannot for the life of him remember what time it was when he took his nap. So I cannot tell you how he overslept. Sometimes when I take a nap, when I wake up, I have no idea what day it is, what time it is. Is it a Sunday? You know, and it takes me a while to realize where in the world I am. Have you guys happened that to you? That's always fun. Being totally disoriented. Not knowing when you fell asleep, where were you? It's like, how did this happen? So you see, I'm actually bringing her together, right? Bringing everything together here. Overzealous over here, so I have to calm down this white. See how I can calm that down? Just like so. And, oh, so we have some nice white we can put here. And when we do this, we want to follow the, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust this with the detail mixture. And this way when I go over with the white, it's going to stand out a little more. So I'm just going to dust this with the detail mixture. I'm going to let it dry, so keep an eye on that. Remind me if I don't go back to that in a few moments. Just going to darken this, and we're going to go back to it. There we go. All right, so now let's see if we could start doing some of the highlights in her teeth, just some of them, right? Let's see. So right here, you can just do a highlight right there. Let's see if I can zoom in. Just over here. And I'm going to try and hit that light. And you can see that really starts to pop out. Maybe we'll try the Fons and Porter. It might be more successful. Yes. So right there. And I have to erase that a bit. So I'm just going to make that a little smaller. Right here we have a nice small light here. Just like so. And pull that up. And I'm going to erase that dark there. See, there's a dark there. We want to get rid of that dark. If not, just lighten that up a little bit. And then come in with this light here. Little tiny highlight right there. And then there's this real specular light right here. And then right here we have this light. And I'm just going to bring up the light of the tooth right here. Just shape that a little bit better. And then I'm going to come in with this light here. Oh yeah, very cool. So that's a nice compliment from Patrick to Mr. Brad about his Scarlett Johansson, right? That's true. It is possible, that's for sure. And Brad says he's going to quit his job and become a real artist. You are a real artist, my bro. That's for sure. Nayla says he fell asleep in the bedroom and woke up on the couch, but it might be as well on Mars. That's so cool. Airspace, so the HR guy who lives in the back of his brain grudgingly keeps him around. That's funny. Oh man, that's hilarious. So as you see, we're just gonna work on her teeth a little bit, and where the highlights are, we have to definitely look at the position and the angle of it. That's gonna make a big difference, right? So let's keep that in mind. And you see how that kind of brings nice dimension to her teeth there. You know, some people think, you know, she has very, very nice teeth, as anyone can see. But it's definitely not a bright white. No one has bright white teeth. That wouldn't look natural. So, and so when you put in the highlights, it really looks natural. So no one has like bright white teeth. No one on this. If they do on the planet, they're going to look crazy. So she has beautiful teeth, and you can see how we're bringing them, giving them shape for her. Oh, so here in the darks, which is really interesting, we can, let me move her over here. There we go. Okay. So here we can shape him a little bit by just lightening with this Fons and Porter. Remember, light, when you put light pressure, you're putting light amount of the white, right? So light pressure means light white. We're just going to try and get a smooth shape here without going too light, right? So you see how we're doing that quite successfully so far. Thank God, I appreciate it. Just like that. And then right here, we have a little bit here, right? So just like that. Now we're getting the shape of the teeth. It was so scary, but we're getting it, my friends. We are getting it. It's not easy. I shake sometimes when, you know, things like this are giving me trouble. You know, it's not easy, but I stick with it. And remember, I tell all my students, tenacity, right? That's what we need. We need tenacity. That is what's going to get us through the trials of painting. I don't know much about life. I'm just talking about painting. And that's going to get us through the trials, right? I'm not a sage or anything, that's for sure. Airspace says, TikTok would beg to differ, Tim. I will say make nowhere near what I did in plumbing. No, definitely. You can make good money with the art. That's for sure. We just have to keep plugging, right? So with painting, with you know, all other different things such as marketing our work and all that, it takes time and effort and crazy commitment, right? When other people will be, I'm out, and we artists are just kind of sticking with it like crazy people. I love how, like something like her teeth, right? Sticking with the teeth. I might have thrown in the towel a while ago, but I'm sticking with them because she has such a nice smile. I don't want her mad at me. You're like, look how you made my smile. And Raquel is like, hates me. I don't want Raquel to hate me. No, no, no. I'm going to do the dark right on the other side of her nostril here. See that? Really starting to get in there. Things are happening. But they only happen after we cry a little bit. You know that one saying that art must suffer before it succeeds? What do you guys feel about that? I know about the suffering part. And you feel that art must suffer before it succeeds? I think so. If the artist is going to be successful for a long time, they have to suffer for a little bit, right? To really appreciate it. Like I appreciate everyone on my live stream. I appreciate you all because I know what it's like to have live streams and have like one person show up. To have live streams and nobody shows up and pretty much talk to nobody, right? So I've had that happen, and not too long ago I've had live streams where hardly anyone had shown up. But it's okay, because then you really enjoy like magical nights like tonight where everyone was just so wild and so positive, and I really felt a blessing tonight. I really did. I really did feel a lot of blessings, and thank you all for being here, being part of tonight. And look how great it is. We have, Mr. Lang, have a great night. Mr. Lang is all the way from the UK, so it is really nice that he comes here and hangs out. So he'll say he'll see me Saturday night. Yes, it's 4:10 a.m., so definitely get some rest, my friend. Always a pleasure. I will see you in class on Sunday. See you Saturday night at the Pastel live stream. So cool. We're working on a painting of Freddie Mercury together, and that's a lot of fun. So cool. Nameless says, Tim, will you keep doing this? Or will you be, he says, Tim, will you be keeping this, selling it to her, or gifting it? I'm not sure. I may sell it. I don't know if she wants it, but if I get a chance to sell it, I definitely will. If she likes it, I'll make another one. So yeah, definitely for sale. That's for sure. It definitely has a different look, doesn't it? Right? It has a different look than the normal paintings, which it's like you don't know what the painting's gonna be, right? Paintings have their own kind of life to them, right? And let's see what people have to say. Brad says, nothing worth having coming without some kind of fight. Bruce Cockburn, yes, nothing worth having comes without a fight. So true, right? The airspace says, Bill says, whereas a real job would not have. Very true. Let's see here. Brad says, Nameless says, Tim, that's okay. It's me. No one would show up. I'd be talking to the empty camera. That's what I was doing. I used to do Twitch live streams, and I heard crickets, but they were outside my house, outside my window, but I didn't hear anyone else. Yes, Mr. Diekman, pretty soon I'm going to be selling prints, and if you're interested, I could send you a link. I'm doing a new website, which is paintedglyphs.com, which I'll be selling my prints in original pastels. So I'll definitely keep you abreast to it, and they're very inexpensive. in comparison, and they're going to be on metal, which is really amazing. So thank you for that question, and I'll definitely keep you. That's pretty much it, Clutch. Everything is for sale. Yes, everything must go, you know. Rent's due, you know. I'll sell everything. You want to buy my airbrush stand? Okay, that's $8, right? That's funny, you know. Yeah, when you are kind of trying to make a living as an artist, everything's for sale, right? That's so true. Now right here I'm doing this light. Okay, so remember I was setting up the dark for the side of the face, right? And here we go with the Fons and Porta. Bam, bam, really great, right? So let's zoom in and we'll look at this together. And then when we zoom out, we'll see whether we succeeded or failed, right? Let's see. Well, we don't fail, we just have to try again, that's all. Let's see. Come over here. So now I'm looking at these lights, right? Oh, Nameless says, do I live in a house? A two-family house, definitely. And I turned my living room into the studio. Not my living room, my dining room. So I don't have a dining room. You don't need a dining room when you live by yourself. And a lot of times you're eating your meals over the sink, over the kitchen sink. Like in that movie, Must Love Dogs. Have you guys seen it? Must Love Dogs, it's really good. So as you see, it's the spaces between the light that really makes things right? So you see how having that negative space is really going to make things really look good, you know? Give a house tour and a view of the Empire State Building. Definitely one of these days. I will do that. Mr. Clutch says we'd also like to check you out, Nameless, if nothing else, just to support the cause. So that's cool. And so you guys are all great. And let's see. So everyone is really supportive of each other with the artwork. Really love seeing that. That little speck of light right there. And we're just going to do the negative spaces here. We may come in with some brush technique here to get the... but what we want to do is we want to have the light, but have the light as it kind of crosses along the form. Light will actually follow the shape that it is kind of washing over, right? So you see how we can kind of really describe the form by following the form, right? And when I pull out, you're going to see a big difference, hopefully. We hope. So let's come over here. So we're not doing like a straight line. We're kind of like staccato, right? Just sort of coming down here like this. And maybe just a little bit of light right here. And just this beautiful catch light right there. A little bit. So even though it's a white Fons and Porter, if you're doing really light pressure, it's really gonna just be the softest and slightest amount of white pastel. There we go. So you see that? So now let's zoom out and see how it looks. Wow, see how that really pops her out there, which is really cool. And let's see, sounds nice. Always wanted to live in a two-story house. I'm on the second floor, but I have the apartment upstairs. Someone has the apartment downstairs, you know. So, oh, and Clutch says it's great until you wake up in the middle of the night and need to go downstairs. Yeah, definitely. That's rough. And oh, look at that, Mr. Bill, he has a two-family house now, so that's all good. That's cool. So God bless you. And we're going to continue with some of the white here, right along the lip here. You'll see as we come in with the white, we're really giving some nice dimension to a lot of areas in this portrait. And remember, the spaces in between make the difference, right? And the actual, you don't want to just, so you see how we're just putting in some lights here and there. We can shape things as we go. Her teeth, We can even start shaping the gums a little bit, right? Put some light in the gums. So cool. We just want to stick with it, right? We know we're coming back, you know, Rome isn't built in a day, all that jazz. Right? Just put a little light there. And then here in her bottom lip, we can just very lightly try and get the texture with the way the light is hitting her lips, right? So we were actually making it three-dimensional, but also achieving some very much needed texture and describe the form. Right, and then we can come here, just like so. Remember, we have the stump, so we could come here and put some light into the shadows there, and put some light into the lights, just like so. And anything's a little too harsh, you can always soften it up with a little bit of pastel. Just soften up some of those edges, like right here, a little ardent, a little strong. Just calm that down, and it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Let's see. Come down here. This shape is a little different here in the chin. So let's see. Oh, keep it small. I definitely understand that, you know. But when he leaves the house here, he hopes to retire to a small house with a shop. That's a great dream, definitely. And I really hope you get that. Pray you get that. And I find, you know, as I, you know, work more and more, that my work gets, you know, much more complicated. So I kind of need more space. So I would like to get a dedicated studio that one day would be attached to my house, and sort of like a, you know, like a bridge or something. So it's kind of covered, so I can go there in the wintertime. That's kind of like my dream studio. You know, part of the house, and that would be great. So how many of you guys have seen the show Office Space? That's one of my favorite shows. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to come in on Saturday. Have to play catch up, right? That is like the funniest thing since sliced bread. Really is. Just cracks me up. And over here, you know, it's a lot lighter, so we're just gonna kind of calm this down here. Calm this down, just like so. And this right here is a little more in shadow on this side here, so let's make that happen. So with the white pastel, it's not like we're just working in white pastel. We're going over it with the airbrush, right? Making things happen, which is really fantastic. So loving it. And you know, it's a work in progress, and don't worry about how long it takes. It doesn't matter how long it takes, does it? It really matters in you know, what you say, right? How you say it. And if it takes longer, that's okay, you know, as long as you achieve what you wanted to when you first set out taking a photo, right? So, and you see that, you know, I'm starting to take my own photos when I'm working, because then I could really understand what I'm painting. There we go. And let's zoom up here. There we go, right here. Just like so. So now when I zoom out, now I'm getting a really nice description of her jaw and her cheek, and that's really nice. Trying to get, you know, her beautiful smile and her expression, all that stuff. Let's see how we're doing. Not bad, we're getting there, right? Getting that exuberance, the happiness that is in the picture, which I love. Yes, those little stumps, definitely. Kevin is the man, so let's see. Which Kevin are we referring to, guys? It's great to wake up, nameless. So which is Kevin? Is that from Office Space? Let's see. Oh, the Nameless says Office Space is a movie. Yeah, it's amazing. The airspace, exactly, Tim. Getting the studio outside the house, but there is ideal. Keeps the thing separate. Yeah, it keeps your work and home area separate, right? Your kind of, the worlds don't collide. And I can see the value in that. And Clutch says, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Okay, cool. And the airspace says he thinks the largest hurdle of having the studio right off his living room is it's too easy to go in. Yeah, it's too easy for me to go start watching TV or maybe go on the iPad, watching YouTube. Those are the caveats, right? Bill sounds like a love and hate relationship, JC says. And Mr. Steve Leahy says it's done when it's done. Yes, definitely. That's what Michelangelo said to the Pope when they kept asking when it will be finished, right? And he was like pretty much paraphrasing, when it's finished, you know. He goes, when will there be an end? And then Michelangelo would say, when it's finished, and we'd be saying that for years. And Clutch says, no, he misspoke. Okay, cool. Says the 2-hour time limit guy. That's funny. And that's true. And Kevin from The Office. Okay, which one is Kevin? Is that the main character? Because he's the best. Yes. Tone says not always true. Bill, at least not for him. Okay, that's cool. And Nameless says you are space, procrastination, and laziness are a hug, distraction, and they both live at home. True, yeah. But there are good distractions, right? I was married for 12 years, and there were some really good good distractions, I would have to say then. Let's see, the airspace, well, Tone, that would depend on if you have customers in and out all day. I can understand, definitely. Kevin's chill still makes me laugh every day. Oh, Kevin's chili. Now, was there Kevin's chili in airspace? Let me think. Kevin. So Bill got that last statement I said. Clutch says, is the very large white guy, is he the guy who actually got hit with the, okay, he is the soaking his feet in the ice machine at a hotel. So he was soaking, and that was on Office Space? Oh man, I don't recall that. I gotta go watch the show again, because Tone says he's in a shopping district, so you get a lot of traction there, don't you, sir? Oh man, it's 11:27 already. So in the show The Office. Okay, I was thinking of Office Space. Thank you so much for that. That's really cool. No, Kevin is great. He's hilarious. I like Kevin. He's the guy who has the band that was at Phyllis's wedding. He played at Phyllis's wedding. Kevin is great, yes. He's the best. And of course, Dwight is unbelievable, right? That guy. Question. Which bear is most deadly? The black bear or the grizzly, you know? And that was so funny how he talks. That's really great. So look at that. We're at 11:28. Oh, look at that. Scrantonicity. Yeah, one day I'm going to show up as a character from The Office on the live stream. That would be a lot of fun. And I'll try and stay in character. We'll see how long that goes before you guys get annoyed, right? So that would be hilarious. JC, thank you so much, my friend. You have a great night. Thank you for hanging out. Mr. Diekman, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Really appreciate it. Hope work goes well tomorrow. I hope it's interesting, even though you're working at home. I hope you have an interesting day at work. There's a little bit of a hard edge right there. So that's cool. And Clutch Patrick, happy birthday. You take care, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Mr. Leahy, take care. You guys are great. And Bill, thank you for hanging out. And you can probably run off a black bear, but a grizzly will win. We'll end you. Thanks, Tone. Thank you, Mr. Payne. John Payne, you're amazing. Great great beef jerky over there in upstate New York. But polar bears will eat you without a second thought. This is true. So great, John. Brad, thank you for the super chat. Paul, thanks for the super chat and the support. Mr. Todd, thank you for the super chat. Honey, thank you, Brad, twice. Thank you, Mr. Bob. I appreciate it. If I missed anybody, just thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so amazing. You really touched me tonight with all the super chat stickers and everything, and all the support and hanging out together. Nameless, it's always great to hang out. I really wish I can stay overtime, but you know, I really, you know, I'm beat. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and close up shop. You guys have a great week. Don't forget, Saturday, 8 o'clock, we're going to be doing part 2 of the pastel painting over airbrush underpainting. So it's going to be fun. Thank you so much, guys. You all are amazing. Every one of you. Take care.